Nowadays, not only that I gathering the villagers, farmers, and local church leader, pastor to come for training here. The government, they also send their people here to let me teach and encourage them how to do these things.
Well, welcome to another episode of the Business's Mission podcast. I'm here with two men in two different places. Mark is in Australia, in my favorite city in Australia, Melbourne. Spent a lot of time there in years past, and a new friend, Simon, who is in Southeast Asia, and we're going to hear really a story of the two of them working together. But God has done some amazing things in Simon, with Simon, has given him a vision, and that's the story we want to tell tonight. So first of all, brothers, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And so let me just kind of tee it up this way, and I want to get to your story very quickly, Simon, because that really is the purpose of this episode. But we were just talking before the show started about the sheer magnitude of the need and the magnitude of the population of the world that lives in rural and agricultural areas. If we think about unreached people groups, if we think about places where poverty is really intense and all the other things that go with that, from human trafficking to corruption to so many things that are all tied together. And then we realize that farming, agriculture, is right in the middle of it, and it's an area. I'll be frank, it's an area that the business's mission global community has hardly touched, and yet it's so big. And so I'm excited for this conversation. I'm excited for some work, Mark, that you're doing with your own business. You've been really working all over the world, but you're now involved in a BAM Global effort to really raise the awareness of agribusiness in the world of business's mission and making an impact and blessing communities and changing lives and watching people lifted out of poverty and brought into a place of God willing, flourishing and prosperity, not wealth. That's not the point, but living the life that He intended for them. So we'll talk about that in a little bit, but I want to get right now right to your story. And Simon, as we talk, I'm just curious a little bit of just your personal story of how you got into agriculture. I know it's all around you, but how did you get into it, and when did you begin to see it as a business that you are now the leader of, and where did that vision come from?
Okay, hi, Mark and Mike. I'm very happy to be able to join with you for this time. Let me start first with my story a little bit and how that I join with the business and supporting the villagers here. I was grew up in the very small remote area in the mountainous area. Then I'm a tribal people. I grew up with a very poor community over there. I have seen a lot of things that is the big challenge, big problem for the people over there. The most of the people that I live in the northern part in Southeast Asia here, I have seen that the farmers, the villagers, and my people over there, they work so hard and they not enough food to eat and they cannot sell anything to make an income for the family. So my family is one of the most poorest in that time, lacking with so many things. But however, I have seen that my community, they're very diligent, they work very hard. But then I try to find out, I pray that God, please show me the way. So how come I can help with the community here? I can help the people here. I can change the lives here. Then something come up into my life. I say like, oh, I can find another way that my people, they can change their way of doing. They can change the way that they work so they can earn the income. Then I can find many different products that the farmers, they can plant here, that they can do the better price, a better income, and better support to the family. So I try with many different things. So finally, I have come to the Sacha Inchi. and one seed that I know. I learned that number one, we plant only 8 months, then we harvest, and we harvest for the year round harvest, and then it can last for 15 years. And I can see that the price very good. The harvest is regularly for the farmers. So I try to bring this one into the community with the different villages to let them plant. And then at the same time, I try my best to find the buyer, the market for them. So because why I do this one, I need to change the community and the living life of the people here. Because like I share with you, they work so hard. They work for the whole year. They harvest one time, and the crop is very cheap. The crop is very cheap, and also even they eat not enough. So I try to find a different way to support them, to help them. So in the same time, like I share with Mark here and you here, this one because I'm also like do the ministry also. This one become a very good platform, very good channel to bring this one into the community. So I can bring a salvation. I can bring our Father's love to them. So many things happen here and change our community here. That is why right now it's also make we have very good relationship with our government here. They're also very happy with us here. They also always talk, Simon, please work it more, please do it more. If you have anything, any way, any other ways that can help our people here, please bring in, please help us again. And they also really support for this one.
Wow, that's amazingly powerful when you share that. I mean, first of all, at a very basic level, it's classic business, right? You saw a need, and the need you described it sadly but beautifully. That the farmers work so hard and still don't have enough to eat. So you see this need, you have a solution. That solution has sort of two pieces to it. One is a different crop, something they can plant and harvest, and it lasts a while. You're not dealing with just the. If I'm getting this correctly, they're not dealing with just it's spoiled and it's over. And then, but you also mentioned something else that seems to be so powerful, and that is you found a market to help them sell their product, to sell their crops at a better price, a fair price, and that's for anybody listening to this podcast, I hope you understand that is the essence of business. You meet a need with a better solution and you bring it to market. That is from the beginning of time. That is God's formula for business. It's beautiful to see that. And it reminds me when we first started working in Central Asia many years ago, we didn't have the expertise you have, which is, by the way, I'm giving you a heads up. That's going to be my next question, your expertise. How did you learn this? But we had so many people wanting to do farms and we could never get past if you have one bad year, your business is gone. You've solved that. So, where did you get this knowledge, Simon? How did you learn this? How did God bring you to this place of being able to find a solution like this for the people?
Actually, because actually I never learned, I never studied about agriculture and all about the business before. But because I have been traveling a lot into the villages to meet the people, to meet the villagers over there, I have seen a lot of poor people over there, people who need help over there. So that is why I come back here. I spend a lot of time to pray to God to show me the way. And I go into the YouTube like that, also learn about how to do things like these things. So, and also like try to share with the people to if whoever that they can give me advice. So finally, after I see these things, so I learn a lot about this thing, and then I have the answer that running a business is the best way to help our people here to be sustainable and to be a better income, better job here. So that is why I really focus on it to learn more with the YouTube and with friends like Mark here and other people that they give me the advice, so I can bring this one into my people, into my farmers here, villagers here. Because why we focus on agriculture, as you know, in our country here, the most of the people here they still do agriculture. So that is why we use this one to dealing with them to help them because this one is really go into their family, their personal life to be better?
Yeah, it's so foundational, and I love your answer of, basically, I didn't go to university, I didn't go to school, I prayed and I studied, and the Lord taught me. And that's a very powerful testimony because I think there's so many people that they just don't get into something because they don't know it and they don't realize that if God wants to bless these people through you, he's going to show you the way. And you knew that and he did. Mark, how do you fit into this? Where did you come into the story?
As you say, Mike, there's two key ingredients to a business. One is access to markets. So Simon and I met through some mutual church friends about 18 months ago now, I think, Simon. Someone who'd been supporting Simon on his church ministry for a while through another church. And I was introduced to him as an entrepreneur. So every conversation we've had has been about his agribusiness. And as you mentioned, if you have delays in payments or crop failure, you have a critical problem with your bottom line of your business. So, as much as Simon would like probably some soft funding, most of what I've done, Mike, has been like a trade credit facility, which helps improve working capital, coming from impact finance within Christian investors in Australia and in the US. And that has been one objective. The other is to help improve the bottleneck of market access because he can sell Sacha Inchi irregularly to spot buyers. People that come into the market, they've got some cash, they'll have a single transaction, and then he's looking for the next buyer. So, what we've been working on, which we can talk about much later on, is how you build a more sustainable long term market access proposition along with the loan book to help facilitate the business. So most of what we pray for is discernment about how to make the business more successful alongside the reach of the gospel going forward through what Simon does.
It's interesting to think about it. I mean, I know my image of what's going on currently in the world of BAM globally is that there are people watching this that don't know how to put their feet into it. They don't know how to take the first step. And you just I mean really with a good crop, a good credit facility and access to a decent market, the rest of it almost takes care of itself. And the blessing and the benefit to the people just flows from that. I do want to come back to that because I think that's a critical question that a lot of onlookers who want to be involved are saying, I don't know how. And there are answers to that. But Simon, I'm really I'm so encouraged by something you said a minute ago about how the government loves what you're doing because you're helping the people. You're helping them make money. You're helping them provide for their family. You're helping them to eat well and to grow. I mean, there's a many of us frankly, maybe it's just maybe it's the American in me, get very cynical about government. And so it's really refreshing to hear of a government there that says we love what you're doing and we want you to do more of it. That's a great story. How long did it take the government to realize the blessing and the goodness that was coming to the people through what you were doing?
Okay, this is very good question. The first time when we start with our works here, it's very difficult and big challenge for us, as you know, in our country here. So we have a lot of challenge. So that is why that I try to find a new way that we can do our father's works here well. So then after we do these things,
Hmm.
connecting with the villagers, farmers, and then the first time they also like not really happy. They don't like it at all. But later, very soon, God changed these things to be a very good one that can help community and villagers here. Later now, the first question you asked me about how I do and I learned about these things. Nowadays, not only that I gathering the villagers, farmers, and local church leader, pastor to come for training here, the government they also send their people here to let me teach. and encourage them how to do these things. So I also very happy that I have never learned about this before, but they also trust. They also let me teach them. So when these things happen, then the government they're happy. It's about 4 years. It's about 4 years before they really welcome and really happy. And then, as I shared with Mark before, last year is the year that amazing for me. They put the big seat that I do in the top of the big truck with the very beautiful decorations. They do the big parade into the main street in the city. I see that one as oh, with the very small things we do for the community. It's become a great things that we honor our God and make our government here, the people here, they're happy with us. So I will definitely try my best to continue to to work on this one, because whenever we can help our villagers here, farmers here to getting better, the government they're also very happy. They said we not only teach our people to pray, but we also like lead them in another way that can make their life better. So I'm very happy with this one too.
Uh, I can picture that as you're describing the parade, just the celebration, and the ability to give honor to our Creator in the midst of all of this is that's an amazing thing. I'm thinking of a woman I know in Romania who was sharing the good news with somebody, a very poor woman, and she looked up at her and she said, "How can you tell me God loves me when my children are starving?" There's a very practical thing here, right? This is how it works. That we're asking people whose lives are hurting and broken to listen to a story when they're hungry and their children are hungry and not healthy. And so she was so convicted that she went and started a clothing factory for that reason, to employ that woman and people like her, to show the love of God and be able to complete the cycle of the story.
Hi, this is Mike again, and I want to just chat with you briefly about a new course available on thirdpathinitiative.com. Very, very excited about this course. It's called How to Raise Capital for Your Business's Mission Company. It is probably the single most in-demand course we've ever created, and it comes in a direct response to conversations and surveys we've done among our existing students. What do you most need? This was overwhelmingly the course that people wanted the most. They wanted to hear about, what do you do? It's the great challenge. And so this course it's very short, it's very simple, but it walks you through how to understand the capital markets, what you need to understand and be prepared for before you begin to seek funding, how to put together a pitch, who to go to, and how to manage that funding after you get it. And so we've brought together a panel of experts from people in the financial field, from people in the business's mission field, from people in entrepreneurial field. Very, very excited. And it is available now. It is live on thirdpathinitiative.com/all-courses. Check it out. I hope you'll enjoy it. We really enjoyed making it.
So it's the same thing, right? I mean, we try to tell people things, and they're hurting, and you saw that, and you got a vision for it and a passion for it, and now the government officials are honoring what you've done, which is really powerful. And by the way, good for them. Good for them that they could see the goodness of what you were doing. They care for the people, and they are supporting something that's helping the people. That's I think you know this. That's rare around the world, and so I really think that in itself, the government officials with whom you live and work, um, their support, their recognition of what you're doing is really a good, powerful thing. I love that. So, how about the farmers, Simon? When you started bringing in a new idea, it's one thing to have the government say, okay, we finally are believing in you. We finally trusting you. But what about the farmers? Farmers are not, they're not open to new ideas. They've done it this way for 1,000 years, and you're going to tell me to do it differently? How did that?
Yeah, the farmers, after we lead them to do the new way, the new thing for this one, after they see that they have income, they have better income for the family, they have a job, they have a work that they can do, they can earn like this one. Farmers, they're very, very happy. They're very happy. That is why that when I share with Mark, I said, from the very difficult things that we talk to them, we will be a good friend to them. But after they see this thing, their heart also open. Their heart also open. So when we visit, when they talk, when we share with them, they also really listen and really respond to the our Father's word. So these things happen here. And farmer everywhere we go, they're very happy. They're very happy and very respect. Like I shared with Mark before, some village we don't expect anything. We don't expect anything for them. We want to bless. We want to help. But wherever we go, some villages they're very happy. They kill chicken, duck, and even pig to receive like that because they say they're really happy with what we do over there. So that is why even not only that things after I see that they're happy, their living life have been getting better, I also very very happy because what we do over there it's exactly is our Father's heart that want to help them, that want to do with them. So that is why I can say that farmers here they're very very happy. So now both of them they said please, especially government, they said, Simon, please try the way to process it here. So when you process the products here, then when you can sell, the farmer they will also get the better price. The farmers family they will also better for their living. So this way the government said they will also really support with whatever they can. Only one thing that they cannot is they cannot provide any single money. But for the document, for the other things, whatever all they really support for now.
So, and as I understand it, you're using obviously the agriculture is, I mean, the levels of blessing are tremendous. You've got the food, you've got the income for the farmers, you've got the you've won the favor of the government by serving the people. You've been able to bring their product to market. There's so much good here, and all of it is built on relationship, right? I mean, that's how it works. The whole thing, as you say, the Father's word goes out through relationship. It doesn't go out through technology. It goes out through relationship and winning the heart and watching people their trust rise and their defenses begin to drop down and yet you have other things you're doing in the community. I mean, because of the proceeds of your business, you're doing other things. It's not just farming. It's farming for a purpose. And so lives are better, but in other things too. Can you share some of
Okay,
those things with us?
a part of that one because we travel a lot to the villages. Few years ago in our country here, we're facing with a lot of problem like flooding and other things. We also try to go to the villages to share with them our father's love with a different need like rice or clothing, something like that. So at the same time, for us here, because I have seen that education is very very important that we can help our community here, our country here. So that is why I also like open our children home here to help with the children, the poor children, to let them have education, to help them in the future, so to have the better life in the future. So not only to help themselves and their family, so also help with the church community and also can help in our country here to be better. So now we helping the children in the different area through our project. After our project here, we have any profit like that. We also share uh, the profit with this project to help them. So thank God that we have seen so many children, more than 100 already, that they graduate and they have a job, yeah, and they have better life. So a part of this, we also do women's developing life. So we have the women's program. We have to train them to like equip them with both for the living life and also for the spiritual for educations. So we train them, we teach them, we send them out, we send them back. So the women's life will be better. We try to create job for them with a different way. So some of these things is the things that we do here to support. So both for us here, the ministry, the work we do here, we try to focus with both way, with spirituals and also physical. We try to develop and improve them to be better. Why I think in this different way, because I have seen by my life. It's so difficult before, and I have seen here so many people, they still struggle with many uh, different challenge and still very poor here. So that is why when we become, we know our Father. So our Father give me this heart that I should develop them in both way, to let them grow. So now is that is why I also really thank God for Mark here. After Mark, we know each other. He is quite quick, coming and helping not only the document, prayer advisors, and many different ways that try to help until connecting that you here. So we hope that God will have another great way to advise me here, to give me the idea and heart, and our team here, our people here, especially to bring blessed to our country and villagers here.
We talk a lot about the whole message for the whole man, and that's what you're living, right? Is it the Father wants people to flourish. He does not want people to live in poverty and in um, slavery and in degradation. He wants them to flourish. He wants them to grow and be lifted out of that and to know him, to have a relationship with him. And so this whole thing together is a beautiful picture, really, of what business's mission is all about. And so, Mark, I want to chat with you just a little bit and get your perspective from what have you seen happening. You've obviously, well, let me back up and say Simon was doing it before you came along. That's encouraging. Number one, that God gave Simon the heart to do this, and he did it. And then you came along. What did you see in the beginning that told you, I want to be a part of this? There's something happening here that I want to be connected to. What was it you saw or felt?
So 18 months ago, Mike, I mentioned that we got connected, and it was at a heart level, really. I flew up to Simon's country because I'm in Australia, and I just wanted to listen and hear from his heart and his ministry. And he'd been running Tanjai for about 8 years, I think, by then, Simon. So he'd done the hard work, Mike, and you mentioned the BAM Agribusiness survey we're doing. There's so many Simons around the world that are challenged to scale. So they're going well and they're flying at a certain altitude, but they want to lift the business to a whole new level. So I saw amazing potential as I went around and saw the farming communities, the influence the business had had on uplifting those people. And I want to be completely behind the curtain. In fact, it's better that you don't see much of me at all, Mike and Simon, although I love going up to see Simon. But this is a local initiative. It's 100% owned, which I love the purity of being um, localized to the point where the business is entirely owned by locals. So we'll only provide debt finance for Simon and his business so that we can maintain the integrity of ownership on behalf of community uplift. The crop is a very rare crop. It's hard to grow in many parts of the world. Sacha Inchi comes from South America, from Peru, but it does grow in some parts of Southeast Asia. And so we saw the opportunity to grow a very high valued crop. The farmers are getting about two to $3 a kilo, but I can go to my local store and I have to pay $30 a kilo for the same product. So there's big margins as well that can be developed. The global sales of Sacha Inchi are about 100 to 200 million US dollars, but it's growing quite rapidly. But if we can produce a plant-based protein like this, a milk formula, this is a sample, that's a $20 billion market. So we imagined a vision, didn't we, Simon, of how we could go to thousands of farmers, that we could scale this with the right kind of finance, the right kind of market access, with the right father's heart and maintaining the purity of mission. We could do some wonderful things, Mike. And so combining the best of the West with the best of the East, so to speak, and fusing that together, which I think is key for BAM Agribusiness. We take the best from outside the regions and we bring it into the region, maintaining the local missional context and ownership. We can see amazing things happen. Most BAM agribusinesses are struggling for growth stage. And so I'm hearing over and over again local entrepreneurs like Simon saying, how do I get lift off? How do I get wind under the wings to lift the altitude of what we're doing to a whole new level? And I think there's many people like me in the BAM ecosystem that if we find the right partners like Simon, that we can come alongside, provide the right capital partners, the right market access, we can really lift the altitude of these programs.
So, I think that's one of those things where really BAM, and I don't say this for BAM global sake, but BAM is a global phenomenon, right? And it is something where our brothers and sisters are engaging for the right reason. And when I hear you say things like, we partnered, right? It's the best of the West, the best of the East. That is the right way to do that. That is the Father's design. That's not, no one person has the whole answer. They can't do it all. We do, in fact, need each other, not in a dependent way, but in an interdependent way, which is a very healthy concept. And I especially love, Mark, where you talk about, you guys set up a financing system, a debt system, a crop-based debt system that allows local ownership to continue. And that I wish I could put that in big letters on the screen because it's so common. At least it's what I've seen, and I'd love for you guys to comment on this. But what I've seen is that where money goes, control goes with it. And this is not a control move. This is a partnership move that you've made. I think that is a lesson in and of itself. If we can go into this and learn to work together as partners and with respect and trust and confidence, and we do this together, that's healthy. And I think it's more blessing to the community, frankly, because more people can prosper. I'm curious. I want to ask kind of a similar question to you, Simon. When you first met Mark, what was it that said, I think I want to work with this guy? What did you see in him?
Okay, the first time when I met Mark, I really something like speak into me, like because Mark is quite different. He come with a really, he really come for this. He really come for this. When he meet me, he try to encourage, he try to talk, he try to give the direction, and he also give a hope that we can see that all this person is the person that for me, like I also believe like it's God send someone to come to help me because he see that I really work with a very big challenge with the people that God also really love them. They poor, but only me, I cannot do it. I cannot do it. I still have a lot of things that I need help. So when I meet Mark here, I see that his heart he have for the people, he have for the ministry here, and he also the one that have experience. After I talk to him, see that oh he have experience of working with a different way. Whenever he talk, many things that I don't know, I don't see it before, so I can see in a little bit far that future that we can go and our product can go, our farmer can grow, and then our ministry here, we also can grow. And I even can see that if God lead us more, like Mark and me and our team here, our business here will be more sustainable in the future. We will be able to, through this relationship, we will be able to support with many, many works that we do here.
Simon, there are some wonderful stories coming out of Africa, particularly in the southern part of Africa, in Zimbabwe and other places like that, where agribusiness, from a BAM perspective, is changing the nation. It's truly making a powerful and positive impact. And as I'm listening to you and Mark, I just it's going to be the same where you are. The time has come. God is bringing the right people together. The attitude, the humility that you both exhibit is what encourages me the most. You're not afraid to say, I can't do it without Mark. Mark is not afraid to say, I can't do this without Simon. There is a true respect that you have for each other, a love that you have for each other. And I look at this and say, we're going to hear the stories like this coming out of Southeast Asia that we hear coming out of parts of Africa. It's going to be world changing in the greatest sense. And the people, that's what it's all about. The Father loves the people, and He's loving them through you guys, and He will be honored as they receive His love very practically, as you said, and also spiritually, as you said. So it comes together, right? Um, I want to change and go a little bit different direction. This is going to sound strange given what I just asked you or just said, but what was the hardest part of all of this for both of you? And Simon, I'll let you go first, but you've been at this, as Mark said, for at least 8 years. You saw the need, you started into it. What was the it sounds like, and I don't want the listener to think, wow, it's just everything's worked perfectly, because that's not how things are. What was the hardest thing that you had to go through? And then, Mark, I'll ask you the same question in the year and a half or so that you've been involved.
Okay, actually, I tried to help villagers since the year 2011. And then I start the company in the year 2016. So it's about 10, more than 10 years. I have facing with a lot of challenge, and I have seen, because as you know, the big problem, like what you asked me here, because I'm start with zero, everything's with zero. Only the heart that, because I'm serving our Father, so my heart is always like I want to develop my people with their faith, with their living life. So I start with all these things with zero. Even the first time when I start the company, in the year 2016, with my bamboo house, very bamboo house, I still putting the grass in the top. So all this, I start with the faith, without any money or whatever. So the big challenge after I do it, when farmer they do it, I know that they are growing, but I have no money to pay them. So many times I have no money to pay them. Sometimes they're happy, but sometimes they are waiting like that. So I need to try my best to find a way to get money to pay them, to do for them. And I also know that this product every year we can sell it, but sometimes it takes time. The market is quite slow in some time. So, but farmer they are not slow. They every day they need the cash like that. They need to buy rice or other thing. So my another challenge now, it's the stable market. So we need a stable market, so to come to support this one. So we have seen that the way that Marx bring in here, the stable market in the future is not only the buyer, but we need to do some product, finished product, that we can release our products here, our seeds here, so we can sell in the different ways. So I really believe this way will come here and will solve our problems quite a lot. And at the same time, the way that we are lacking the money to buy from the farmers, we also talk to Mark here. We also pray if there is any way that can help to provide some seed money here we can buy from farmers to help them. So this one is another thing that Mark he already tried to help. But in another way, the farmer they also very poor too. So we pray now this challenge we need to find some money for villager to get some loan that they can improve their farm. Like for an example, like to buy wire because these plant they need to grow like long because they are the vine. So we need to buy some wire for them, some technical system that we can pay money like that. So we can give some little bit loan for them in each family. Because you know now in our project we already have 1,500 families that they plant for us. They partner with us. They work together. So our plan in the future soon, we want to have the 5,000, 7,000 families that they plant here.
Again, Simon, you're giving me an education in agribusiness from a very core perspective in that, when most of the businesses I've been involved in, you provided a service and you were paid immediately or within 30 days. Same thing with a product. You sold the product, you were either paid at the moment of the transaction or within 30 or 60 days. But agriculture is different. And when people think about this is why I'm glad we're having this conversation. So I'm glad that the agribusiness consultation is going on within BAM Global to get this out there for people to understand. It is a different business model, but it's business. It's right. Agriculture or business, it's agricultural business. Agribusiness is real business and learning how it operates, learning the financial nuances as you just described is going to be critical to this of knowing I have to pay the farmers this week. The crop isn't ready for 3 more months, but they need money right now. That's how it works. That's not a problem. That's not a fault in the system. It is how agribusiness works. And so you've lived that. So same question to you, Mark. What's been the toughest part for you in this? You come with a lot of experience too, and yet it hasn't been easy. So what have you struggled with, and how can people that say I want to do what Mark and Simon are doing, I want to do something like this somewhere, what do they need to be prepared for?
So as Simon said, he's grown this from nothing, Mike, which is incredible, but it's come with pain. And the main pain point is cash flow management, because if farmers need to be paid regularly, and Simon's got such a heart for the farmer, he'll pay them even when he doesn't have a buyer yet. So then you develop a whole inventory or stock. And Simon's house and everywhere, there's bags of Sacha Inchi everywhere, literally. As you walk around, you fall over bags of Sacha Inchi because of his commitment to the farmer. But that means you got high inventory, which is good for your balance sheet, but not good for your cash management. The other challenge for Simon is that when BAM ventures look to be financed, you need to show a track record of finances and cash flow and so forth. So what I'm discovering is that there's a big gap between the due diligence criteria of BAM finances and businesses like Simon that are not ready. They're not investor ready. So we need to be able to be willing to come back and nurture people like Simon to a point where he can be found. So to find people like Simon, I reckon there's hundreds of people like Simon around the world, but most of them are not found by those who can partner and finance. When they are found, we got to journey together with them, come alongside them, meet their needs, not our due diligence criteria, but what does Simon need? What kind of finance is going to nurture him to a point where he can be more sustainable? And um, partner in a genuine sense, where it's a partnership of equals between the funders and the local partner. So cash flow management is key. And as Simon said, we want to build a local value chain. We don't want to just be
Hmm.
exporting raw
Yes.
Sacha Inchi. Because the problem with developing countries is that they're exporting raw produce that are very low value, and they're not adding value before they export. And so the government, Simon and I, we're all talking about how we build the value chain to get equipment, capital equipment on the ground that can process the Sacha Inchi into a milk, because Sacha Inchi has omega 369, all the 9 amino acids, 30% protein. It's a superfood. It's amazing. So if we can unleash that potential by getting the value for the local economy, that's the next challenge here. So that's the challenge ahead of us. To get to where we've got to, we have to be prepared in BAM Agribusiness to take 2 steps backward before you take 3 steps forward, or whatever the metaphor is. Right?
Yeah.
Go back to meet the needs of the
Yeah.
entrepreneur, and then step forward together with them. Don't expect them to be at your level.
So as you're talking, there's two things that come to my mind. One is I just got back from Cameroon, West Africa, and we were having this exact conversation about they've got amazing crops, beautiful crops. I mean, fantastic coffee,
Mm,
fantastic cocoa, all kinds of pineapple. I mean, all these wonderful crops. But they're operating on this. I don't mean this to sound offensive, but they're operating on a colonial model, and that was how colonialism worked. Right? We got the raw material from the colony, and you were a colony as Australia. I was a colony as America. So this is not we're not strangers to this. The raw material goes somewhere else to be processed, and then is sold back to the colony at an inflated price. It's a
mm.
terrible system. So when I hear you talking about this again is where we come together and we figure this out together, a model that works and breaks that cycle.
And there's an opportunity, Mike, because the safest form of finance that investors prefer is asset-backed debt finance. So if the asset, which is the machinery, the plant, the equipment, is what you're financing, I'm finding no lack of investors that are keen to invest into plants and
Hmm.
equipment because it's asset-backed debt. Right, so if the debt fails at some point, you've got the assets that could be liquidated. Not that we'd want to do that for any BAM business, but it's a safeguard for finance. So I think the road ahead is looking more rosy and clear, but the point remains: take 2 steps back in order to take 3 steps
Yeah,
forward.
and listening to this, just getting to know Simon just a little bit on this call, and knowing that you've spent time getting to know him and Simon, what God has given you and blessed you with, and entrusted to you, it answers a question that came up many years ago. I was talking to a group of investors about business as mission. We wanted to start a business as mission investment fund, and they said, "Well, here's the problem. You have no track record. And agriculture is kind of like that. You have no track record.
Mm,
It said four things need to happen. You've got to have a good product. You've got to have a good market. You've got to have a decent leader, and then you've got to have a track record. I said, we don't have a track record. Simon, when you said I started with zero, there was no track record. And so I asked these guys, I said, well, if we can find a man or a group of men of character, of godly character that we can vouch for. Would that check that box about proven financial track record? And they said yes, it would. And I think there's something to that. That's where I'm going with that, Mark and Simon, is that's that 2 steps backwards. I've got to go and get to know my brother there. I've got to be able to say, this is a man of vision and character, of integrity. God's hand is on him. I will vouch for that. And then the funding begins to open up a little bit. So there's this, we're building a financial ecosystem that doesn't exist. And yet it has to exist.
and it's relation. It's absolutely relational from day one, Mike. So, uh, trusting and knowing Simon, the key to BAM agribusiness flourishing is identifying godly local
Yes.
entrepreneurs that you can put your trust into, and then going a couple of steps back and working alongside them. So when I've added others to the partnership that have come in with finance and expertise, I've said, go and meet Simon. You don't have to go with me, but go and meet him. Sit down with him and spend half a day.
Yeah.
Talk to him. Share your heart with him and use that as your due diligence
Exactly.
before you get out your documentation and your certification. That can come later, but hear the heart of the man and and ask yourself, can I work with this person at a heart-to-heart level? Because although that doesn't sound like business, it's fundamental
It
to
is
business
business. I
to
agree
do
with
it
you.
that
I think
way.
it's a great point. Simon, how do you answer that? I mean, you, if I'm you, I'm listening to Mark talk about, it all rests on your shoulders. That, that's, that sounds terrible. But, but I know you don't see it that way. How do you handle someone who says, well, we're trusting you. We're building this on your character, your vision. As we've gotten to know you, we trust you. Trust is the vital piece of all of this. There's no trust, there's no relationship. How speak for yourself, but also speak for others around the world that that are in the same place you were. They had nothing. They have a vision. God has shown them an answer. There is a market, and they have nothing. How do you handle that?
Okay, first, I'm very happy to hear that, but I will say that exactly it's my heart. I really sure, even if I meet Mark, I meet Mike, I meet others, I really sure in my heart that people, I will hear something like that to them because I really, really, really start with my heart, with my people here, with my country here. I really, really start with my heart. I pray a lot, God. Please, please help my country here. Please help my people here. And please also show me the way. And also, the last one, I said, now I need the people to come to help, to partner. I'm still lacking with all these things. So then when Mark come here, whatever I talk to him, I remember I talked to Mark. I said, I want you to see. So whatever that I do, I say what I do. So I want you to come to see. So this thing, Mark. So when Mark come here, he see. Whatever I speak to Mark, I do it. So same thing, I pray a lot to God. And I really thank God that Mark also say some of these things. I'm really, really happy with that. So I will also share with your question if another country, another people, they want to do some of these things too. So please, number one, ask God to use them to do this. And then the second, let see whatever the villagers, the farmer, the people over there, they do and what is their need. And then can go in, can learn and can start to help them, start to find a way to help them, like to find market for them, find technical for them, and bring the different products, different things that the villagers they can do in the better way. Actually, every country, I believe that they will have something that people they already plan, they already do it. So the first step we come to help them with what they do first, and then we can find another way, another crop, another plants that is better. So we can start, we can help them to do in the better way, and then find a market for them. So I really believe that the way that we do here, and in another country, if they can do something like that, it will be very good. Will be very good for the villagers, for the farmers too.
Simon, it was worth the entire podcast to get what you just said in the last 3 minutes. You just captured, for me anyway, you just captured the I won't say the answer, but you captured the approach. How do we look at this? How do we think about this? Where do we start? And thank you for that. That is very, very powerful. All right, we're gonna run out of time here, and I think I'm gonna have to come see. I think that I think that's what's gonna have to happen. I'm gonna have to come see this. But I want to end with something that you both said in different ways. There are I think somebody said, one of you said hundreds. I would argue there are thousands of situations just like this around the world. There are thousands of
Mm-hmm.
Simons and thousands of Marks that just need to find a way to get together and figure this out together. I think Mark, you said it. We don't know who they are. So part of the problem is who are the other Simons in Southeast Asia? Who are the other Simons in South America, in Asia proper, in South Asia? I mean, this is a global issue. Who are the Simons and who are the Marks? And I find myself thinking a little bit about when the Lord was going to choose his disciples. He was looking for a handful of men that he would use to change everything. And what he did was pray. He didn't have a
Mm.
seminar. He didn't write a book. He prayed. And that's what you just said,
Yep.
Simon. And I think this all kind of comes down to all these ingredients are necessary, but we've got to begin on our knees talking to the Father who desperately wants to bless and wants to be involved in your community and other communities like yours around the world. I do hope, God willing, I hope that I get to come see what you're doing. But certainly, thank you for being on the show. There's so many more things we'll talk about. I want to leave it there. I think Simon, your final words to us are exactly what we need to hear and meditate on right now and pray about. So thank you, both of you. Thank you so much for being with me on the show.
Yeah, thank you very much too, Mike,
Thanks
for
for your time.
allowing us to meet with you here. I'm so happy to meet you here. Yeah.
It's a new way of meeting people, but it's still nothing like being together. So we will talk soon.